Hi, everybody, and welcome to this week's podcast of Quill and Curtain, the podcast for playwrights, by playwrights. This is Darren Friedman, and we have one of the coolest people on today that I know. I just love her to death. We have Debra Cole. She's a playwright and theater educator from Lawrence, Kansas. Her plays have been seen by audiences around the world. Debrah was a selected playwright for the Williams Inge Theater Festival, New Play Lab in 2023. Debrah's 20-play collection titled The Wrinkle Ranch and Other Short Plays About Growing Old is available through Next Stage Press, as well as additional plays with Drama Notebook, Off the Wall Plays, and Here for Publishing. Debrah's a member of the Dramatists Guild of America, a member of the Honor Roll, an advocacy group of women over the age of 40, and the 2023-24 Kansas City Public Theater's Playwrights Roundtable cohort. Deb, what's up?
Oh, man, I've never been called cool before, Darren. Now I'm in the zone.
No,
I'm ready.
You are so cool. You are so cool. I love you to death. So having you on is just like total pleasure.
Well, the feeling is mutual. Absolutely.
Awesome. So before I ask you any of the questions I usually ask or get into the details, I just want people to know what you're doing right now with the kiddos.
Oh, I love my kiddos. I'm really fortunate. I was a teacher for 17 years before I retired, and kids are everything, man. They're the coolest humans to work with in the entire world. But what I'm working with right now, it's my third year, is the Penguin Project, which is this absolutely amazing program. And I work with a local theater Lawrence here in Lawrence, Kansas, and I am the mentor coordinator. And what this program is we work with kids that have intellectual disabilities, physical disabilities, emotional disabilities, whatever it is, and we bring a full-scale production to life. So the first year I was involved, we did Shrek Jr. The second year, last year, we put together Beauty and the Beast. These are not small shows. And this year we are doing Frozen. And what's unique about it is we have 25 artists, and these are our kids that are all the leads and all the parts. But what we also have are 25 mentors, and those mentors are kids in the community that come together to be friends with the artists, to be their confidant, to be their cheerleader, and they shadow them on stage. So when our artists are out there performing, they have a mentor standing right behind them, ready to give them support, ready to squeeze their hand if a line's coming up and they need a reminder. It is the most gratifying project to work with, and I suggest anyone out there look into the Penguin Project. It is absolutely life-changing. We have every production, you just hear the weeping in the audience. And we're doing the same backstage because these kids are giving us their very best. They are reaching new places that they never thought possible before. Dr. Andy is the man who started the program, and he noticed that there was a real benefit to kids in theater. I mean, it's all the skills we want people to know, right? How to speak, how to communicate, how to give eye contact, how to read cues and socialization. And so I am so proud to be involved. Emily Giles is our director, and I am so grateful to be attached to the Penguin Project.
I'm so glad you're doing it. People really need to understand how you can give back in special ways, especially through the arts, and you're doing it. And I'm just so great. So thank you to all of us who don't and should, because I'm one of them. I don't do the things I should, but I'm so in awe of you because you are.
So, well, listen, opportunities, when they come up, take them. You will not be sorry. I mean, it's just a door has to open and you're going to say, there it is. There's my moment. I'm going to take it and bring my gift to someone else and let them shine.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay. So what drew you to playwriting, and when did you know that it was the right path for you?
It's weird. I tell my early story, when I was just a babe, I actually used to do plays in the backyard with my sisters. I used to write them. I used to, of course, direct them because, by God, it was going to be my project. And my poor sisters would have to be whatever parts I put them into. And we used to do these puppet shows that I created in the backyard, with Miss Piggy and Kermit and Barbies and whatever else we had on hand. Nothing specifically puppet-like, but I would charge the neighborhood kids to come actually and see the shows until my mother received a phone call that said, Deb has got to stop charging our kids. They're losing all their allowance money. So I had to stop charging. And so cut ahead, I did theater through school. My husband and I both did theater. We actually were married in Brigadoon in high school on stage. He was Charlie Dalrymple and I was Bonnie Jean. And that was cool when we were dating to actually be married on stage. And then cut to, I received different degrees, ended up in education. I was I was the luckiest teacher on earth. I taught high school 9th grade humanities, which are all the subjects that are just so cool to work with kids. We did art history, music history. We did creative writing. And through creative writing, I was best friends with the drama teacher. And we started doing these nights of one acts where my kids wrote the one act plays. And my freshmen, which gave freshmen a great opportunity to be involved in something bigger in school, right? And as I'm teaching this, I'm thinking, I should be doing this. I actually really love teaching playwriting and I've always been involved in the arts and I should do that. Well, cut to my daughter graduating from high school in 2013 and I kind of looked around and thought, oh, I've got time. I'm no longer a mom with a baby bird at home in the nest. She's flown off to do her thing. And so I wrote my very first play it was about 2011. I started to write it and then I kind of finished it as she was leaving. And I loved it so much. I loved working with kids. I loved giving them smart dialogue. There's a lot of kids stuff out there doesn't treat them with any respect, right? They kind of talk down. I wrote a lot of plays for our lower school on campus, our middle school on campus, as well as our high school evening of one acts. And I dove into the deep end and I ended up writing, I think, 5 full-length youth plays and over 90 10-minute youth plays. I had the fever. It took a big chunk out of me. And I'm so grateful for youth plays because they gave me a chance to really cut my teeth as a playwright and really find my voice. And I still write one youth play a year for our local theater, and they call it Princess Camp. And every year I write a play with 45 to 50 kids where every kid has a line and every kid wears a crown. And I've written 3 so far, and I love the youth part of writing. I'm really into now the adult side, but that youth still tugs my heart because that really was the impetus for me to become a playwright.
I want to ask you what inspires your plays and your writing, but it sounds like giving back to kids is really a huge part of what it is you do. Is that right?
Yeah, well, there's 2 sides to me, right? I've got the youth side that I give back to. That's a big part of half of my writing. And then my adult writing came from a very different place. And so I have a different inspiration. It starts with kids and then ends with adults. I took my students to an assisted living facility in the town I was living at. And I had my students meet with seniors at this assisted living center. And I wanted them to talk with them for about 4 different weeks, once a week, hear stories, listen to them. And then I had them write 10-minute plays based on their lives or a moment. And at that point, my gears switched and I started thinking, seniors don't get people over 50. There aren't good, juicy roles like there should be. They're here and there. Don't get me wrong. But as a as a rule, there's a lot of stories about youth. And what I really thought about was people over 50 have the most amazing life experiences. They have rich and deep lives that aren't being shown. You think about musicals, you see, there's always the young couple. And then the second B plot is that older couple. That older couple over there. They kind of throw that in. And really, that older couple is who I want to hear about. I want to hear about what they've been through. So the Wrinkle Ranch that you mentioned, another short plays about growing old, that collection came out of my time at the assisted living facility and getting to know some people and realizing that the stories of people over 50 really are worth listening to, have value, and we could learn a lot from those people. So I have two different inspirations: kids and people with full, rich lives that have had experiences. So there's two sides of me.
So walk me through your typical writing process. How does it work for you?
Oh gosh, I've heard people on your podcast say the same thing, but it varies. It really varies. For my short pieces, they come fast and hard. I sit down with an idea. Something will spur me. I will hear something at a restaurant. Oh, I'm the worst at restaurants. My poor husband. He's like, "You're listening, aren't you?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's just like rolls his eyes, and I'm pulling out my phone and notes and making notes. It could be that I hear something like that. It could be that I've had something happen that I need to work out in my head. I need to process it. So I do it through writing, that I figure out the correct ending, or the way I wish I had said something, or the way I wished it turned out. On my longer pieces, I've got to sit with things for a little bit on my longer pieces, while the short pieces come quickly for me. And I mean, Darren, I sit down, short pieces, 10 minutes. That's a sit down, pound it out, then stand up and go, did it. My longer pieces, I have to outline. I have to give an outline. Now, that outline is very fluid for me ultimately. And I think I've talked to you before. I have many more. I have probably over 110-minute, 5-minute monologues, short pieces, because I love that format so much. I'm really trying to work on that longer format for myself. And I have a couple now, and I'm working on one right now. I was up last night at 2 a.m. for the longer piece, because the longer piece stays with me longer. And I was at a point when I stopped writing yesterday that I just was kind of like, I need to put this down. I need to walk away. I need to think about where this is going to go. Even though I have that outline, my brain is taking me 50 different roads. And I need to just take a moment. And 2 a.m. last night, it came to me, my wonderful, beautiful brain that I'm so grateful for said, here's what you do. So the writing process just depends whether it's the long or the short, how I approach it, and what I'm in the mood for, what's calling me, what I want to work with at that moment.
What challenges do you think you're facing right now when it comes to your writing? What is standing in your way?
Standing in my way. Okay, that's a weird phrase for me, because I don't let things stand in my way. And it sounds so Pollyanna, but I do this because I have a passion for it, because I love it. So if something's standing in my way, I'm going to get through it. Nothing's going to stop me from experiencing the joy that I have when I write. I mean, it's just, I'm being selfish about that. And I will find a way. I think that the biggest challenge is what I mentioned is those writing those longer pieces right now. That's my challenge to myself. My goal is keep going. You're going to get this. You're going to find this. I've got 2 pieces that I really like, and this one that I'm working on, I'm really excited about. And I'm having to remind myself that it's a marathon, not a sprint, because my shorts are a sprint, and the long is really the marathon. And so just reminding myself that I'm not going to have instant gratification on this long one, and not to give up, because I sure love the feeling of completion on those shorts. Those shorts to me are such a high, because it's a thrill to have a thought and just sit down and pound the keys. And so having to take breaks from this long one, having to get up and say, tomorrow I do scene 4, right? It's not going to be done today. That's if anything's a challenge, it's just retraining my brain on the long one to look at it differently and to be patient with myself.
What do you do when you feel blocked?
Oh, take a walk. I love swimming, so I will go swim. We have a great indoor pool in town that I'm a member of, and just getting away from the keyboard, getting some fresh air, changing the environment. Sometimes I'll go and sit at a coffee shop, and all of a sudden it's a new perspective around me. And like I mentioned, the biggest block help for me in the whole world is my darn brain when I sleep. I don't know what it is. Those of us who have those brains and writers, I know so many of us, we all have those crazy brains that go so many different directions that we can't keep up. And sometimes that blocks us because it's too many thoughts, more than not enough thoughts, and going to sleep and just letting my brain do what it does. And I stop fighting it. That's a big, I will say more than anything is when I go to sleep, I will wake up at some point with the answer that I need and the path that I'm supposed to follow.
Let's talk about the theme.
Yeah.
What kind of theme do you hope most resonates with people when it comes to your work?
It's a really great question. You know, my plays vary all over the place, but I think one theme outside of my really dark pieces, which I'm going to have to put away in this conversation a little bit, I think my theme is hope. I love humans. I love this journey. I'm always looking for the hope piece of it, the humanity. Maybe that's a better one, the humanity of something. I think it's really important. We all go through so many things in life, and sometimes big things happen to us and they overwhelm us and they take us out for a little bit because we weren't ready for them. But if in my writing, someone can see characters facing those tough moments, those painful moments, and find the humanity in it and find the hope, that would just be so wonderful. I would just be so happy if that's what someone walks away with, is a little bit of hope and some faith in humanity to find their way.
Do you think it's necessary to define yourself as a certain kind of writer?
No, that's for me. You know, I hear things that you find your niche. You know, you're a youth writer. Okay, now you're writing for people over 50. I can't stay within just those bounds. And I understand there's a beautiful marketing side of it, right? Oh, she's the one that does this, period, the end. But man, life is too exciting and there are too many opportunities and ideas out there to be stuck. And writing for me is such therapy. It's such joy that I can't stay within certain lanes. I can put collections together. I'd be happy, like with the Wrinkle Ranch or for my youth pieces, to put them in packages and say, this package includes all of this, right? But to be just in that one small little box has never worked for me as a human. I think it's so important that we're constantly growing, that we're constantly exploring new things. And we have phases, right? As writers. I was talking to a friend yesterday, we were having coffee, and I'm in a kind of a dark phase. Some of my shorts are kind of dark. And that comes out of, you know, life experiences and things, and where my brain may be in a moment and what I need to work through. And that's okay. Sit in that darkness, write about it, get it out, feel it. And then when that passes, be open to what's next, be open to what's coming next. I'm so grateful to be a writer. It's something that now that I've found it later in life, I mean, I didn't go to school to study this. My schooling is, my background is I have education, art history, and journalism. Those are my three concentrations. And playwriting and the fine arts weren't a part of that during that time. I mean, I'd done it through high school. I was active in college, still doing some fine arts pieces. But yeah, we've got to keep growing. We've got to change. And now that I found this, I can do this for the rest of my life. I can be the lady in the assisted living facility that I spoke with, Marsha, who I absolutely fell in love with, and be sitting there with my computer still writing. And that is the goal. That is the goal, to keep growing and changing and doing this forever.
So in terms of defining, I have a question for you. There's a word that I absolutely hate.
Uh-oh.
It's the word emerging.
And I hate it too.
Like, oh, you're an emerging playwright.
Right.
What the hell does that mean?
What does that mean? Does it mean that you have a production? Does that mean that you've been writing for 30 years and just found your work?
I mean, it's like ridiculousness. I just,
right.
So I'm so glad to hear from you that we start when we start.
Yeah.
And we're able to develop our skills based on when they're supposed to happen, not based on any kind of predestined, I'm so glad to hear from you that you had a path that took you in certain ways and then you found it later. I'm just so impressed by it. So I wanted to thank you because as someone who also started late, I find it really cool to find other people who have taken a path that wasn't directly right out of school, or they've been doing this forever. And I just wanted to just say how much I appreciated that.
Well, thank you. And I'm going to tell you, I'm seeing it live and in action. I teach adult playwriting classes, and I've got people coming to me that have never written a play in their life, and they've had all different backgrounds. And to watch them find their voice and say to themselves, oh my gosh, I can do this. I can write a play. And it's like, yeah. Well, I don't have the background. Doesn't matter. And that may ruffle feathers, because I know there are some amazing writers who have this amazing background in education, in arts education and in the craft of playwriting. And their work is stellar, without a doubt. But there's also a lot of people out there that find it at different times and have a true gift for writing. And they shouldn't be embarrassed by it, and they shouldn't feel less than, because what happens is once you get that playwriting bug, you start searching out your own education. And that can look lots of different ways. Some people go back to school. Some people go on to New Play Exchange and read everything they can, like I did, and use that as a master's class in writing, where I literally was just hungry for what's out there. I remember when I wrote my first 1-minute play, I literally went to NPX and searched 1-minute plays, and I started at the top and read to the bottom. I wanted to get the cadence. I wanted to get the feel. I wanted to see what was possible in a 1 minute, right? And so education, I'm a huge proponent for formal education. Please don't get me wrong, but it's not the only path. And I want people to know that if you're listening to this and you're not a playwright, but you are kind of curious, do it. Jump in. The water's fine. Come on, swim. You've got this, because it's such a fabulous world with such amazing supportive people if you choose the right paths.
What do you think the future is for the playwright?
I think it's changing by the moment. I think as a playwright, there's two sides of the playwright, right? There's the writing, and then there's the production. And I think that's always a hard leap. And so I think as playwrights, as we move forward, we have to be looking for new ways to get our work out there. We have to look at what defines production, and we need to constantly be open to opportunities or creating opportunities. I think that's really important. When I was meeting yesterday with this person starting her own production company, and she's like, I want to work with your pieces. Great. This is someone who's tired of the status quo and what's available and wants some new, fresh things to happen. And we need people like this. Playwrights need to connect with other creatives who want to do new things and want to bring new voices to new formats, to new arenas, to new everything. So I think we just have to be constantly searching for new opportunities.
I'm glad you brought up what you just brought up, because that leads me into a question I've been asking people that really fascinates me, and it fascinates me or I wouldn't ask it. Talk to me about your view on collaboration. that word, whatever it means to you, whether it's collaborating with another playwright or collaborating with a director or actors, what does it mean to you and what are your feelings about it?
I think there are so many levels of collaboration. I think it really depends on who you are as a writer and what you're comfortable with. I'm not a great collaborator when writing because my brain just shoots things so fast. I've been collaborating with someone and I have to constantly tell myself, be quiet, Deb, be quiet. Your brain is going, you know what I mean? Stop, let them be a part of this, let their voice be heard. So I'm working on that, not my strength, and I know that. Collaborating with other creatives outside of writing, love it, absolutely love it. Any chance that I have to work with a creative in any different way, I always walk away and learn something new. I love that. Collaborating, oh, wow, beyond other creatives and institutions, I think there's still possibilities there with playwrights. You know, I think to myself, I met someone at a arts event once that went into prisons and prison system and actually taught playwriting classes in prison. And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, what an amazing collaboration. One, they're paying it forward. They're giving something back. Two, they're leaving with one of the most amazing experiences that will only enrich their writing. So I think looking for ways to collaborate outside of the creative community can also help us grow and help us just become better people.
What role do you think playwrights have in shaping society and sparking important conversations?
Oh, huge. Absolutely huge. I think theater, live theater, recorded theater, any kind of theater gives audiences a chance to hear new perspectives, to question maybe what they've thought and maybe redefine their own beliefs. Or I just think there's so many opportunities. I think theater has there's something about a human interacting with another human, and especially live theater when you're close to them. You're drawn in, you feel a part of that person. If the playwright has done it right, they've created an environment that's safe for you to enter and safe for you to engage with, so that when those tough topics come up or those tough concepts, that you feel okay exploring them. And I love nothing better than the lights coming down at the end of a piece that's made people think. And my husband and I have done this many times. Then the entire car ride home, we're talking, right? We're really asking questions and thinking, well, what do you think about this? I mean, do you agree with this? I mean, we've never talked about this. We've been married 37 years. How does this not come up? You know, I just think theater has such a responsibility. I'm also a big believer that theater can be entertainment too at times. You know, I think there's two worlds. There's the emotional therapy, learning something, growing from it. And then there's just the darn right belly laugh that just you leave and you feel a little better, and you see something that just makes you smile and you just feel warm inside. I think all of those things have such a place in theater.
What are you most proud of when it comes to your writing career so far as you've gone through this journey?
Oh, that's a hard one. It's like picking your favorite baby. What am I most proud of?
Yeah, but that's why I ask it.
Yeah, I know. Darren, way to go. What am I most proud of? I think this is going to be ridiculous, but I think I'm proud of paying it forward any opportunity I can. I'm proud that I have taught kids to find their voice. I'm proud that I've taught adults to find their voice. I think we need it so badly. We all need to find our passion. I'm a big passion person. So I'm proud of myself for finding my own passion. And I'm proud of anyone that I work with that the light bulb goes on for and they find their own passion. I think it's so important as humans to find what we're passionate about. And if it's playwriting, wow, get ready. The ride is amazing. It's there. You got to have some tough skin because there's going to be a lot of rejection. But there are so many beautiful moments. And even if you've been writing for a year and have never had a production, I guarantee that you've had moments when you end a play that you feel so good And you just say to myself, I just did that. I did something that made me feel amazing, and I did it. And it's worth the wait. It's worth the struggle. So passion, finding it myself and paying it forward to others. I think that's what I'm most proud of.
What are you working on?
Oh, in writing in writing, right?
Yeah, in writing.
Yeah.
No, like your Olympic run that you're about to go to Paris. Yes, you're writing. What are you working on in your writing?
If you know anything about me, there is no running happening unless someone's behind me with a knife and in front of me with a slice of chocolate cake. No running is happening. No running is happening. My writing right now. So I'm working on a full length. It was inspired by, I had the great fortune of traveling through Ireland for 7 days last month with my husband and 2 other couples. And they were talking about something and my ears perked up and you could see my husband go, oh, it's a play. Oh my, we have a play coming. And so as they were talking, I was asking lots of questions and I finally said, can I take this and make this into a play? It'll be completely fictionalized. And they're like, do it. So I'm writing the full length right now, and I just got through the first act, Darren, yay, of writing. Like I said, well, at 2 a.m, but yes, I just finished. I just got to the intermission part. So yeah, I'm writing this full length right now. So right now I'm really in the stage of I'm vomiting words and they're just going down there. I'm writing as it comes to me. And
it's the vomit draft. I love that term. It's the vomit draft.
I am such a believer on these long pieces as the vomit draft, because that's what'll trip you up, because you'll think it has to be perfect. It doesn't.
No, just get it out.
Just get it out there, put it down. There's time to finesse. There will be so much time to rewrite and to have your friends over for a glass of wine and say, hey, funny thing, we're all going to read tonight. And then give everyone a script and hear it. And so, yeah, I'm writing this full length that I'm really excited about. And that's going to keep me busy probably for the next month or so of just working on that. So like I said, I'm being patient with myself. I'm giving myself those breaks. I know that it's not going to come the way I want it to come, but I'm just getting it down and doing it.
Okay. The question that is coming.
I love that question. Go ahead.
What is your favorite rejection story?
So I wrote a piece that had a very strong point of view. It was after Roe versus Wade reversal. I wrote out of pure rage, and it's one of my favorite shorts that I've done. And so I submitted it to a festival. And this was a festival that, this doesn't happen very much anymore, but where you actually received back, along with your rejection, you received back the sheets from the readers that actually show their comments. And so I got my lovely, after a record number of submissions, we're sorry to say, email. But actually it was an email, and it said, attached are your readers' comment sheets. And I thought, oh, well, this is interesting. Fascinating. Okay. I'm curious. So there were about 5 or I think six readers they had. And so I'm reading the first one, and it's out of a scale of 1 to 10. And it's this amazing, I was blushing. It was lovely. They just loved it. It was a 10. Oh, how lovely. Thank you. Thank you, reader. I'm sorry I didn't make the festival, but thank you for getting it. Go to number 2. Same thing. I'm thinking, okay, 2 people loved it. 2 10s. Okay, what's coming? 3rd, the same. 4th, the same. 5th, the same. At this point, I'm thinking, how much more could you, how could you get more points to be in the festival? Then I hit my 6th one. And the 6th one, I clearly touched a nerve. One of the risks of writing a piece that's very political, sadly it's political, is that you're going to have people that connect with it and you're going to have people that don't. And number 6, basically, these 1 through 5 had written all of these beautiful words and comments, and I was glowing and I was happy and I was like, oh my gosh, I feel seen. I feel like, someone gets it. And that 6th one literally was the number 1 or 2 circled and no comments, not a single one. And I thought to myself, ouch. Okay, got it. That's what took the score down. So I still laugh to this day. And it's a good reminder, you can't please everybody. You can't.
No, you can't.
Boy, there's going to be someone in every group that just says, nope.
You're so awesome.
Poor
I just, as a person, you're the best. And I love you as a playwright. And thank you so much for coming on. And I think people are going to really gravitate to you and everything that you do. So,
well, thank you. I hope someone hears this and wants to start writing. Start writing. If you're not writing, do it.
Good. As always, this episode is brought to you by Point Park University's Master of Fine Arts in Writing for Stage and Screen. If you'd like to check them out, just let me know and I can put you in touch with the right people. And next week, we'll bring you somebody who is as exquisite as this week's guest. So, Deb, thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Darren.